Times Judge Lauren Lake insults bad parents on paternity court.
A feeling. We're not talking about feeling. We're talking about fact. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I
ran
ran
out the house,
and
slipped on a banana peel, and landed in the bed with somebody else. I get to the point where you find out you're pregnant and there's a question regarding the paternity.
We basically had sex that first night.
It was not that
Yes,
first
it
night.
was.
No,
Yes, it
no,
was the
wasn't.
first night. Yes,
No.
it was.
This first case is completely scuzzy, as Mr. Morris believes that he has fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins.
Mr. Morris, you're here because you say certain facts have come to light, make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter London, and you intend to rectify that issue today.
Whereas Imani Thorpe claimed that his ex was just being outrageous, and that he was the father of both twins.
Thorpe, you say Mr. Morris's claim is ridiculous and that he very clearly fathered both of your twins, Paris and London. You say Mr. Morris's efforts to go behind your back blew up in his face.
Following an initial statement from both parties, Judge Lauren jumped right into the issue of paternity doubt.
Both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine, and then different things happened that made me believe just London was.
We've examined this issue completely in this courtroom, and we do know it's possible for a man to be the father of one of two fraternal twins.
Twins with two different fathers? Yes, it sounds shocking. So the reality TV judge asked how it all started.
You're saying that you know he is the father
Yes, Your
of
Honor.
both twins?
The time match up to Antoine being the father of both of my kids. I don't even understand why he's even putting me through this. I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child.
After this, Mr. Morris and Miss Thorpe told the judge about their unusual entanglement, and a really wrong DNA testing story also popped up, and it was clear that Lauren was not liking it at all.
So, Miss Thorpe, at some point you find out you're pregnant. Take me to that day.
I went to the doctor for like just a regular checkup. She came in and she told me that I was pregnant. He was very happy. He seemed like he was very happy about the situation.
Just like that. I didn't doubt him, not one bit, but I went back to the house without Imani's knowledge, and inside the test, it was a thing where you get 3 samples.
So, after the DNA test results, Mr. Morris became suspicious of the resemblance between Paris and his other biological daughter, and this revelation annoyed the judge to another level.
My youngest daughter now, and it was side by side with London. They look just alike.
Oh, you had two women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
You on team too much all the way around.
Yes.
So you had another baby by another woman at the same time.
The same reason when I was telling Imani why I couldn't be in a relationship with her, because I was in a long-time relationship with someone else. We was on a break.
But what happened next made the sassy judge label the couple's whole dynamic screechy like this.
You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell him to.
Oh, you told him to, Miss Thorpe?
No, Your Honor. They just developed that because he's been around since day one. So with him being around so much, they asked was Twan their dad, but I told them no.
This is a mess.
And then she rained on their parade in this way.
It started off messy. The middle was messy. The end is messy. You all should be ashamed. These babies 4 years old sitting up. Be 4 years old and have to sit up and ask 2 grown adults, is somebody my daddy? Babies got more sense than the mama and the daddy.
This mother believes her ex-boyfriend swindled the DNA result to avoid paternal responsibilities.
Ms. Lopez, you are here today because you claim the defendant, Mr. Carbajal, allegedly perpetuated a DNA scam to try to deny paternity of your kids. You say you're tired of struggling daily to take care of your children alone, and you need to prove he's their biological father.
Mr. Carbajal, on the other hand, claimed that Miss Lopez had already ruined his life and that he didn't want anything to do with her.
Your life in ruins.
Yes.
By fraudulently claiming you are the father of her children, you argue that you did not perpetrate a DNA testing scam and are here today to prove it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren asked them both how they met in the first place.
I met her through a social network. She told me, hey, come see me, for the weekend or just one night. So I want to go see her. And that day that I want to go see her, we basically had sex that first night.
It was not
Boom.
that
Yes,
first
it
night.
was.
No,
Yes, it
no,
was
it
the first
wasn't.
night. Yes,
No.
it was. Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
Yeah, whatever.
Ms. Lopez, you meet and you start a relationship.
Yes.
You're having sex.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unprotected
Unprotected.
sex.
While listening to their story, the judge inquired about when the doubts began.
So you claim Mr. Carbajal was the only person you were with
Yes, Your Honor.
during that time that she
Yes,
was
Your Honor.
conceived.
I did not have a father, and I did not want my daughter growing up without a father.
Well, that's
It
not my
hurts me to
problem.
know that she does not have him around. He says he's the father. He's even has her name tattooed on his own.
You have her name
Yes, I do,
tattooed
Your
on your
Honor.
arm?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
However, when Noah's cleft lip was brought up, things became extremely heated.
He looks just like
Your
his grandpa.
Dad is dark.
His
That
dad
doesn't
is
mean
dark.
anything. That doesn't mean
My
anything.
Yes,
little
your
boy,
dad.
my little grandson looks just like your
No,
dad.
Yes,
There
he
are
does.
He
pictures.
doesn't. No,
There's
he doesn't.
pictures
Yes.
that we
No.
looked side by side.
Yes,
he looks
we
like
did.
your dad. You may be light complected,
So
but
why
your
was he
dad
born?
is
Why
dark.
was he born
He
with the
looks a
cleft
lot
lip?
like that guy
Why was
that
he born with the
Your
cleft
Honor,
lip?
I
That
did
has
not-
nothing to do with genes
My
from you
my
guys.
family does not have
Your
a
Honor.
history of cleft lip.
But a cleft lip was not the only thing that led to paternity doubt, as there was another guy in the narrative.
I sent it because to show him that there would be another man, possibly to man up and take care of his responsibilities. I had no sexual contact with my ex or anybody else but your brother, Christina.
When this picture was sent, it was probably she was pregnant already. And this guy looks exactly like Noah.
Your Honor, I was already pregnant with
It's a
my
big,
son when my
dark
daughter
man.
was.
After that, the judge tried to get a clear view of the fake DNA report claim.
In the paperwork, do you have to include photo ID?
No, nothing like that.
So no ID to identify
No.
which
All we gotta do
kids,
is swabbing or just put the name of the father
and
and
you
the kids.
you write that name
Yeah.
in.
The names are wrong on there. My daughter's name is spelled wrong.
So, after a good amount of back and forth, the paternity results were brought in, and Judge Lauren got the chance to school some good sense into Miss Lopez.
In the case of Lopez versus Carbajal, as it pertains to 1-year-old Noah Lopez, Mr. Carbajal, you are not.
Thank you.
It's one thing that you lied. It's another thing that you sat up in here and lied in court. You stood there and tried to make their entire family.
This next episode deals with the separation of 2 weeks that led to paternal confusion about the beautiful baby girl, Deja.
You claim your girlfriend, Ms. Troutman, left for another man.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
say that when she returned, you forgave her and quickly resumed your sexual relationship.
Yes.
Shortly after she announced she was pregnant. Now you claim there's a distinct possibility that you're not the father of her newborn baby, Deja.
The trial begins with Miss Troutman explaining to the court how she became involved in such a situation.
I was staying with both of my parents. My father is deceased, so I kind of grew up a little bit rough. I grew up with my mother. She was a single parent. She was not a mother to me. She was more of my friend. I took care of my brother and my sisters, and I just got tired of living that life. So I started to run away from home. I had met Tony's mother, Cindy, put clothes, roof over my head, food in my mouth. She was a mother that I never had before.
After hearing the story, the judge jumped right into the paternity doubt question.
You go out of town.
I go out of town.
For how long?
For a week.
And you come back and somebody's holding your first child. When you ask her,
I
she
asked her.
said, it's my boyfriend.
We had gotten into an argument.
Fuck
But
him.
when he did come back on his trip, me and my friend with my daughter was leaving the plasma center and he was walking down the street. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, nothing.
Miss Troutman, on the other hand, explained to Lauren why she had moved into the arms of another man.
Saying to shut up and all this extra stuff. So I got tired of it.
And you were so disgusted by that, you
I
ran
left
out the house,
and
slipped on a banana peel, and landed in the bed with somebody else.
I called, no, that is not what happened.
I'm trying to figure out how this
That's not what happened,
evidence
no.
leads up to you sleeping
No.
with yet another man.
Even though the young baby mama brought evidence into the courtroom, she got the judge all riled up.
So you have a February calendar laid out so we can understand what all was going on. November looked bad. It's clear that 3 different men could potentially be her father.
Not 3, just 1.
The estimated time of conception is outlined in bold within that.
Though the judge bounced back to her rational self when Mr. Miller told the court about his threesome she was back to being edgy.
We had a threesome with one of her friends one time. I might be the blame for her wanting to cheat on me because we had a threesome. I mean, I told her she wanted to do it.
You fell for what I call the okie doke. The short form of that is don't write a check that later you can't cash. This relationship is now in jeopardy
After this, Mr. Miller was given the chance to speak, and the women gave a really good reality check to the couple. And Judge Lauren loved every bit of it.
I want to hear from your mother. Miss Miller, please stand. I've been waiting for your turn.
You let me up here.
Which guy did you see?
I seen the guy. I went and picked Tony, and I went and picked her up.
They both saw the guy.
Bottom line is, you got a glimpse.
I know what he looks like, and I seen Deja, and I can't help but think, I hope not, but she looks just like the other guy.
Which guy? The plasma guy or the chat line?
Even though the results were not what we had hoped for, they provide a happy ending to the confusion.
Mr. Miller, you are not her father.
Hey.
I know without question that you love Miss Trout. You two have acted irresponsibly as it relates to your relationship. But when you become parents, you gotta get it together. Because it's not Miss Miller's responsibility around having threesomes and you don't have any sense.
In this case, a young woman has petitioned against the mother of her late boyfriend, who refuses to take her daughter as her grandchild.
You have opened your case to prove to the defendant that her deceased son, James, is your 14-month-old daughter, Ava's biological father. You state that you know the defendant is in pain due to the loss of her son, but so are you.
Yes,
and
Your
want
Honor.
nothing more than to give her closure. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kyle told the court that Miss Light was not only suffering the loss of a loved one, as she had also lost her boyfriend and the father of her child.
Miss Light isn't the only one that's hurt. I'm hurt too. That's my child's father. She wasn't a mistake. We planned her. Me and him was together. That was my boyfriend. I loved him. He loved me. And he loved his daughter. We were his family. I understand she's hurting. That's her son. But me and Ava are hurting too.
Miss Light, on the other hand, told the court that while Ava was her heart and she wanted the baby girl to be her granddaughter, she had her doubts.
Ava's 14 months old. Have you formed a bond with her?
Yes. My son was raising her. If she wasn't with my son, she was with me. It was just a lot going on. He came to me so many times. Her, after he moved her to Oklahoma and got everything furnished, another man answered the phone and tried to claim to be Ava's father.
Miss Light seemed honest in her statement, but Miss Kyle claimed otherwise.
Did another man answer the phone?
That never happened. Me and James never had any fights or arguments, any females, any males. I was hormonal. I was going through a lot. I was stressful. Our arguments never been about other people in our relationship.
So why would he make this up with his mother? I mean, what motive would he have to?
Because he was mad because I wasn't letting him around me when I was pregnant with her.
After the intentions of both sides were revealed, the adoption news kicked in.
Decided to give Ava away to a family member, and she named Ava Skylar.
Why are we calling her Ava?
Because that's the name that me and James wanted to name her.
Did the birth certificate ever get changed? Is Ava on her birth certificate, or is
me and James were on the phone. We discussed this. Only me and him. No one knew about this. Only me and him.
But did he know you were planning to give the baby up for adoption?
He knew afterwards when I got her back.
Miss Light was even more heartbroken after listening to this because her son had the wrong name tattooed on his face.
Knowing his baby's biological name. Because my son had tatted on his face, Ava Jashay. My son would have told me something. My son would have got the baby's name changed if he had known.
Miss Light also told the court how her son was shot dead, but Ava managed to survive the whole incident marvelously.
All I know is something happened, some girls arguing, and another guy came and shot my son. And the girl tells me that all she could do was try to pull him into the car and drive off. And they kept shooting, so I know it was God, but I don't know what stopped the bullet hole from hitting my grandbaby other than God. Because it was a bullet hole that either the door or her car seat stopped it from hitting her.
The wretched grandmother told Judge Lauren that while she wishes for Ava to be her son's, because of the different name and the fact that another man was involved, she was too afraid to become attached to someone else's child.
Even knowing that you picked up the baby and she was with this other young man, you still held out hope that this is your grandchild and your son's child.
My son loved her to death.
But now you're afraid to really get attached to the baby.
Judge Lauren tried to convince the young mother to try to grasp Miss Light's confusion too, as she had every right to doubt the paternity after everything that had gone down.
Ava doesn't even know her name is Skylar.
No, she knows Ava Jashay.
That's what everybody calls her.
I can't lose nobody else in my life. I'd have lost a daughter, I'd have lost a son. I can't lose nobody else.
Though the whole episode was very heavy, the end was a happy beginning for little Ava and her family.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Light and Skylar Ava is 99%. You are related.
We can do what we gotta do and get her name.
I'm very happy I could deliver this result today.
Thank you.
Me too.
Very happy.
In this episode, two different women are trying to prove to the same man that he is the father of their children.
Ms. Jones, you say Mr. Trevino is denying your child, and you say it has a lot to do with Ms. Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Hernandez, you say he's also denying that he's the father of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren began with Ms. Jones's testimony.
He's denied her back and forth. He says, I'm not the father, I am the
I'm not
father.
denying, I'm simply requesting the truth, Your Honor. I'm not denying anybody, and I've been there for my
You have not been there.
My family and I have done a lot.
Keyword, your family. You are the father. Remember that.
Mr. Trevino was then asked why he had such reservations.
You know, we went to the doctor. I asked him around what time did she get pregnant. He gave me around.
You don't even know what time because you're not right. You don't know what time, nothing. You don't even know what time it is now. So let me tell you.
Mr. Trevino, you have an issue with the days of conception to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the fact that Lydia herself was confused about paternity made things a little sore.
You're hard on him, and he doesn't know this, and he's not this. I get that you hurt, but you did choose to be with, so it had to be something about him you like.
You're right, and you have to follow your heart, who you love at the time. I did. I was in love with him, and I did feel that he was a good person.
So
he's
it's
a charmer.
your contention that you were intimate with him during that time, the estimated dates of conception.
But Miss Jones believed that he was denying paternity because there was another woman in the equation.
She hinders a lot of the things. I can't come see Cheryl, our daughter. Miss Hernandez doesn't want me to be around my daughter.
You are interfering with his ability to be a father to his child that he has with her.
I'm not interfering in him being a father. I am interfering in him being in a relationship with her. Because she does not, you don't need to be, yes you are.
If I'm in a relationship with him, I would have called him. I don't want anything to do with him.
Miss Hernandez, the other woman, was unfortunately on the same roller coaster.
It's a cycle. Think about it.
My son looks a lot more like him than your daughter does.
We got the proof today, and he's gonna take care of my child.
Yeah.
And I hope he continues to take care of your child
Well,
because it's only right.
Mr. Trevino, why is it that you doubt?
There's been so many times where I'm going off to work and she's over here straightening her hair and putting on makeup. Why don't you do that while I'm there?
However, the reality TV judge could not look past the fact that all of this had to do with Mr. Trevino's trust issues.
I got some trust issues. I'm a bit paranoid, you know, because it's hard for me to trust. And around the time that she did get pregnant, she was going off, you know.
Which she? We're still on Miss Hernandez,
With
right?
Miss Hernandez, yes.
Okay, so when she was pregnant, she started going off. What do you mean?
Like she started leaving. Like she started going, what she claims to be with her friends.
After going all the way into what was going on between the trio, Judge Lauren called for the results and said this before opening the envelope.
We go to the results because you need to make it clear because you way up high on your horse over there. What you're not willing to do is accept that your actions have a consequence. Now, when you get so angry at a man because he's not doing what you want him to do or what you need him to do, and you decide, I'm gonna hurt you the way you hurt me, and I'm gonna tell you this child isn't yours, you then can't stand up here and act mad.
And with the second result came some very good reality checks by Lauren for Mr. Trevino.
You are father. Now you seem relieved but not surprised.
This can put a big end to the questioning and the doubting. I'm very surprised. I'm happy with the results. I really am.
No, you're really not surprised.
I'm surprised.
No, you're not surprised because I seen surprise. I know surprise. I watched surprise a lot in this courtroom.